This is a love letter to anyone who's ever been told that they are too sensitive, and we are going to be using examples from the People's Princess, Miss Amaya Papaya. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to be here. I'm so grateful to be back. It has been a hot minute, but without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. If you've ever felt like you care too much, you cry too often, and you feel too deeply, then this video is for you. You are exactly where you need to be. This message hits really close to home for me because growing up, I was always told that I was too sensitive, I was too emotional, I needed to stop taking things so seriously, I needed to toughen up, and for a long time, I actually resented my emotional world. Being around people who didn't understand my emotional depth made me feel like the way that I naturally existed was wrong, that this was something that needed to be fixed. Today, when I look back on these experiences, I truly believe that they were a part of the universe's grand design. I'll go deeper into that in a second, but for now, I just want to tell you from one highly emotional, sensitive being to another, your emotions are not a burden. The way you feel, the way you process this world, the way that you exist is all perfectly and cosmically designed by the universe, by God, and if you don't believe in either of those, then by the complexity of your biology. You are perfect the way that you are. And just because the people around you don't have the tools to honor or validate your emotional world does not mean that there's anything wrong with you. Your emotional depth is not a flaw, it's your gift. Thinking you're too much for somebody who doesn't value emotions or have the awareness to hold space for your depth is like handing a beautiful novel to somebody who doesn't speak the language. It's not that the story isn't powerful or meaningful, it's just that specific person isn't able to receive it. And the reason why I said I felt like those past experiences were part of a grander divine design is because without these experiences, without that contrast, I wouldn't have been able to evolve my relationship with myself to be what it is today. Today, I could stand in a room full of 100 people calling me crazy, and I would still be able to know deep down that my truth is my own. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be hurt. I'm not saying that it wouldn't stir up something within me, but I no longer need the external validation to believe that my feelings are real. All of the contrast that I experienced, all of the discomfort, all of the misunderstandings, all of the invalidation truly gave me the greatest gift that I could possibly get as a highly sensitive person, and that is the ability to validate my internal world. Honestly, it was like I collected one of my own infinity stones, and this power, this self-trust became a part of me. So how does this relate back to the People's Princess, Amaya Papaya, and how can you and I both learn to empower ourselves in our emotional worlds together? From the moment that Amaya stepped into the villa, I felt this invisible kinship with her that I'm sure the rest of the world felt too. I'm also somebody who's born from Brooklyn. I'm also from a Hispanic culture and background. When she said that, this is just how I talk, this is just how I am, I'm passionate in this way, I truly understood what that was for what it is. And even when she tried to explain, she wasn't trying to cause malice or harm inside this villa. She was simply being herself. They couldn't understand it. And why I think that she resonated with so many across America and why I personally resonate with her is because I've also experienced showing up in a room, wanting to be my authentic self, and because of whatever is going on in somebody else's life that drove them to be the way that they are today, not only is it not received, I was diminished for being me. It was, I'm too emotional, I'm too sensitive, instead of, we're just two different people. Amaya really showed us what it looked like to continuously show up as yourself, and no matter what it is, believing that my emotions are real because I feel them, and I don't need to appease everybody who's around me. She literally said it, if I'm not your cup of tea, then don't drink it. We all see ourselves in Amaya because we have all been in the face of rejection and felt like we had to change ourselves. But Amaya showed us strength. Amaya showed us resilience. She showed us that everybody in the room can sit here and call you crazy. And you know what? You have a choice. You can believe it or you can validate yourself and say, my emotions are real simply because I feel them. my perspective is valid because I am experiencing it. And even if nobody across from me understands what it is that I'm feeling, that's okay. Not all the time are we meant to be understood, but that doesn't mean that you change yourself. And that's what we saw with Amaya. And she eventually found someone who saw her. She also found so many hearts in America. Everybody looked at her and realized that they were just like her too. And she showed us that you can still be yourself, be misunderstood, and just show up every single day. But you will eventually find your person. You will eventually find your people. And side note, but I'm so happy that Brian came into the villa and was literally like, everybody calm down. She's a human being. This is our culture and it's okay. So now let's get into some practical steps that helped me and can help you become more affirmed in your emotional experience to empower yourself and help yourself truly feel safe being who you are, even if the people around you don't like it. One of the biggest pivots for me personally was truly internalizing and understanding that people can only meet you as deep as they meet themselves. I've been touching on this point throughout the whole video, but I truly believe that once I understood this, it led to a deeper sense of freedom for me. Mastering this subtle truth helped me to understand nothing can take the validity away from my perspective except myself. And again, we saw this through Amaya's whole journey in Love Island. People constantly telling her that she was crying too much, she's trying too hard, when she genuinely was probably one of the only people that went on that show looking for love. She was in a room full of people who were misunderstanding her, but that didn't take away from her fact that she was truly being true to herself and that she was not going to change who she was. She was not going to cry less. She was not going to be less passionate for the convenience of other people because other people were uncomfortable with her life, with all the space that she took up. She also showed us something really beautiful, and that is what it looks like to advocate for yourself. And there's this little saying that if you don't stand for anything, that you will fall for everything. And in this context, Amaya showed us exactly what it looked like to stand up for yourself in a way that comes from a deep knowing of who you are versus a superficial level of who a person, a community, a TV show persona wants or expects you to be. If you don't advocate for yourself, then you're constantly going to feel vulnerable to self-doubt and even start adapting to people, situations, and environments that you were always meant to stand out in. And in my case of being the emotional black sheep of the family, I was able to empower myself and understand that, yes, like I didn't need everyone else's acceptance of who I was to be who I am, but it also showed them that there's so much power in emotional depth. You never know how your emotional depth, A, may impact the people around you and help them feel seen in their own experiences, but B, may also even be the key to unlocking and breaking generational curses within your family of women and men who weren't allowed to feel, of people who've had their voices silenced. The second thing that truly changed everything for me was being able and learning how to validate my own emotional experiences. I started telling myself in moments where I was emotionally overwhelmed that I matter, my feelings matter, and my feelings are real simply because I feel them. Affirming this for myself helped me to step outside of the mental tug of war that I was used to. And this would sound like my voice and the echoes of the voices of the people who told me how to be before. Let me give you an example of what my internal dialogue used to sound like. So let's say if I was angry about something, my voice would be like, I'm angry. And then the echoes would be like, well, you don't really have a reason to be angry. You are the only person who's mad, so clearly there's something wrong with you. You're just being too sensitive about the situation. You're just being too much about it. You're thinking too much about it. That spiral used to make me second guess myself over and over and over again. And I was able to shift my perspective from, are my feelings even real, to, why am I actually feeling what it is that's popping up for me? And obviously today I'm able to recognize that those voices that were telling me how to feel were never really mine. Those were ones that were repeated to me as a kid growing up and just kept cycling over and over again in my mind. See, this last point that I want to give to you I briefly touched on in the previous example is understanding where your internal world, your authentic self, meets the external expectations that were given to you. You can do this through journaling, you can do this through a therapist, but truly understanding, are the voices in your head that dictate how you should be processing your experiences truly your own, or are they echoes of your family, your friends, your associates who told you how you should be processing your world and your universe? And this is something that I'm still very much working on. It is something that I've unpacked through years of therapy that I'm still in. And so this isn't something that's going to happen overnight. And I want you to know that deeply. This isn't something that is a quick fix, a 5-minute to do. It is something that is long term, but to a highly sensitive person is essential to you being able to live in your peace, to take up space without feeling horrible about it, not feeling insecure and second guessing yourself. It truly helped me shift. And one last nugget of wisdom for you guys, I know I said the last one was the last one, but this is the last one truly, is that discernment is going to be your best friend. It is imperative that you discern whose energy is for you and who is not. I today have learned that not everybody is my cup of tea, as our princess Amaya Papaya says, right? And so I'm not going to waste a single breath trying to explain to somebody who I know will never understand me. I have learned to make peace with what it is that I know in myself, what it is that I value myself, knowing that it may never be heard, knowing that I may be the villain in everyone's story. But that is okay, because I am perfectly fine with that being the price of my peace. I truly want to thank Amaya Papaya for being herself throughout her experience and touching the hearts of so many. You truly showed us what it looked like to be authentically yourself as a highly sensitive, emotional person. And there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with you at all. And we are just learning what it looks like to take up space in a world that tries to harden a soft heart. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and to all of my beautiful soft hearts out there, keep being yourself, keep glowing, keep growing, and you being your most authentic version of who you are can inspire so many people to also be the same. So do it. Until next time, like, subscribe, follow if you want. I'll see you guys later. Bye. No, you're fine. You're beautiful. Okay, guys, this is my mom. She literally just walked in the middle of our video, but doesn't she look so beautiful? You're welcome. Do you have any words of wisdom for the people who feel like they are too sensitive in this world?
There's no such thing as being too sensitive. I think there's a time for you to sit with the introspection of your feelings, and then there's a time for you to be around the people who can hold space for you and your emotions. And so be who you are, live your life with no regrets, and don't worry, everything's going to be okay, because it always is.
You heard it here first from the queen herself.
That's hilarious that I walked in on this moment.
I know, right?